it blast, all that tires. Look, it's a surprise, don't deny us. She telling me she want to be my lover, yeah. I love you when she want to be my lover, yeah. My little baby got eyes on me.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined by gorgeous Simone and Lindy. I'm going to be comparing the Canon R6 and my good old trusty Canon 5D Mark IV. Before we get into this video, make sure to check the girls out. They are going to be linked in the description below. And make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell button so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And let's get right into the video. First, I have a few disclaimers. This video is a review, but it's not going to be a technical one. It's just going to be me testing out the cameras, playing around with them. So if you're looking for something a bit more technical, filled with information about the specs and so on, this is probably not the video for you. Second thing as well, I am going to be shooting with two different lenses. I'm going to be shooting with my original 5D setup, so 5D Mark IV with the 24-70 2.8 and the R6 with the 28-70. I know they are not the same lens, and that does definitely affect the quality of the final image, but also I am looking to upgrade from my 5D with the 24-70 to the R6 with the 28-70, and I want to know if it's worth spending all this money to upgrade to a completely new setup. So that's the reason why I'm doing it this way and not using the same lens, and I hope you guys understand it and still enjoy the video. And now let's get back into it. So for this one, when you're shooting with the R6, it's basically, I'm going to be using the viewfinder because it's just easier to see in the sun. It's pretty hard to see on the screen because it's so bright. It's kind of a tiny bit difficult, I guess, because I do always underexpose my images, but it's kind of nice because you almost see like what the final, almost like color graded image is gonna look. So it's actually helpful for setting up the right exposure straight away. Cool. Okay, so we're starting with the R6. We're shooting with that. Beautiful. We're having some really nice glow on the girls. So we're gonna take some photos with the R6, see how the focusing is and so on. Then we're gonna move to the 5D Mark IV and see how that behaves. This looks gorgeous. Yeah, girls are wearing same outfits or similar outfits, same little red pieces. Beautiful. Let's take some full bodies as well. Gorgeous. Yes, beautiful. Your skin looks so good. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, I find the eye focus is pretty efficient for this one. Gorgeous. And for this one, I'm using the viewfinder because I want to make sure that I'm getting the right exposure. It's very hard to see on the LCD because it's so bright. So basically, I'm just making sure that, gorgeous, that's beautiful. That I get the right exposure. And like when you're shooting with the mirrorless, when you look through the viewfinder, you see the photo the way it's exposed with your settings. So it's very helpful because you don't have to be like checking the back of your screen to see if the photos are exposed correctly and so on. So it's definitely very, very helpful. It's gorgeous. And with the 5D, we don't really have the same thing. When you look through the viewfinder, you just see what it is. So it's definitely much brighter and much more like gray, but then when you look at the back of your screen, you're like, oh, that looks nice. So it's very interesting. Same as with the R5, the R6 has an electronic viewfinder, and when you look through it, you see the image the way it's going to look at the back of the camera instead of how it is in real life. So you get to adjust the exposure as you go. So it helps you save a tiny bit of time and just make sure that you get the right colors and the right exposure straight away, which is definitely very helpful. I don't have it with 5D, and there has been times where I shot way too bright or way too dark without even realizing, and only, looking at the back of the camera 20 photos in and then realizing that it's way too bright. So that definitely saves you some time. I'm very interested to see what the colors are going to be like at the end, because when I was shooting with the R5 and the R6 yesterday, I discovered there's still no Lightroom profiles for the actual cameras, which is kind of disappointing, I think. I did manage to download some camera profiles that are a bit different from a developer. So they definitely help, but it's not exactly the same as the camera profiles that Canon releases for Lightroom. So it's definitely a bummer. That's Gorgeous. One thing that I definitely noticed and slightly struggled with was the color grading. Yet again, as with the R5, I find that especially on dark skin, the tones were coming off a bit different when I was color grading. Now, bear in mind, it could have something to do with the color profiles because, as I mentioned in my other videos, the color profiles are missing in Lightroom, so I had to purchase ones that weren't made by Adobe. So it could have something to do with that, but I did struggle a tiny bit with getting the darker skin tones right, and it's usually not a problem at all. So as you can see, after the color grade, the photos with the 5D and the R6 were looking slightly different. I think I do prefer the tones on the 5D because they just look richer and the skin looks more saturated. It's hard to describe, you might not be able to see it on the video per se, but on the camera or on the computer, I can definitely see the difference, and I definitely prefer the 5D color. But as I said, it could just be something to do with not having the right color profiles. If you like how my images look and you like how I color grade them, make sure to check out my preset packs. I have 2 new out, light medium and medium dark. They are available on my website anitasadowska.eu, and you can get a little discount code in the description below. Make sure to check them out. And now let's get back into the video. Same settings, 1600 4.5. Well, this one's a bit easier because I literally just switch off the little video and photo. But also in terms of size, this is actually way lighter. Even though the body itself on the R6 is lighter, the lens is super heavy and big. This lens is way smaller, so it definitely makes a difference. So it's kind of interesting to see how the lens is so much chunkier in the other camera. That's gorgeous, yeah. When it comes to video, I have to say the R6 performed really well as well. I love the color straight out of the camera. I love how smooth it is. You can just keep moving around and it's not as shaky as the 5D Mark IV, which is definitely a plus if you have shaky hands or if you don't use gimbals and so on. It also records 4K at 50 frames per second, which is nice because you get a really great quality of footage and you get the slow-mo as well, which my Canon doesn't have currently. Okay, so we're starting with this look. It's the second look now. We're gonna shoot separate first, and then we're gonna do a joined one again because we have like matching pieces. Okay, so we're starting with the R6. I'm on 250 a second at 4.5, and just make sure that your toes are just like pointed. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And maybe just open this leg a tiny bit out. Yes, gorgeous. So yeah, it's crazy how loud this camera is in comparison to the other one. It's actually kind of interesting because in feel, when I'm looking at the R6, it feels, or like it looks a bit more like plasticky in a way. But at the same time, Jesus, when I do take photos with this now, it feels a bit more hollow for some reason. I think it's because the lens is so much lighter. So here you see the difference in sizes in the two cameras. As I said, the body in this one is pretty much the same size in terms of, you know, maybe it's actually a tiny bit bigger, but it is actually way lighter than this body. But the lenses, the size difference is huge. This is such a big chunky lens. As you see here, it's just much wider. The diameter on this one's 95 millimeters. This one's only 82, but this is f2 and this is 2.8. So it's definitely something to consider. It is a chunky big lens. It is going to make you tired, especially if you're holding a camera around all day. But it does look very nice and sleek. And you know, my camera does look a bit beat up because I've had it for years, but you see it's pretty similar in terms of size. There is no difference in terms of how heavy it is. You have the same on knob switch. This varies from the other camera. You just have the wheel kind of like in the other with the old like 5D Mark IV. You have the same pop-up screen, so it goes the same way. You can have it here or you can have it this way. If you're changing into video mode, you just change it here and then you change it back into manual, and that's it. In terms of how both cameras feel, it's definitely a similar experience. They're both similar size and weight. I think the body of the 5D is a bit heavier than the R6, but then the lens, the 28 to 70 is definitely a bit heavier, around 600 grams, I think, comparing to the 24 to 70. So there's definitely a difference there, but when you put the two setups together, they do balance out quite evenly. When it comes to the 28 to 70 lens, it is such a beautiful lens. As I mentioned time and time again, it is a massive lens. It's very big, it's very bulky, but at the same time it is such a beautiful piece of glass. And I know it's quite expensive. I think it's pretty much the price of the camera, but I think if I was to upgrade, I would definitely get the lens as well. It's super fast, it works seamlessly, the focusing is so good, so I definitely recommend it. And having the f2 as well is so nice because you get to have more bokeh if you like it. And I tested out the bokeh in my next video that is coming soon, and it's so beautiful and so creamy. Beautiful. I'm watching this one. That's really nice. So even though the lens is a bit heavier than the other one, it's not the end of the world. Like, I don't feel that's beautiful. Love it. And I love the little wind as well. Gorgeous. Oh yeah, so dramatic. I like it. Beautiful. Perfect. Gorgeous. Yeah, perfect.
Nobody else can end it. And when I get the money back, then baby girl, you can spend it. And everything is alright. I like how you doing alright, alright. Like how you think alright. Always on top, oh yeah. Like how you do it alright. Everything good, alright, alright. Like how you think alright. Always on top, alright, oh yeah. I wanna know it tonight. I wanna be the one to surprise you. Wake you up in the morning. I wanna be the one that you calling. 'Cause I see you in the future.
Won't make it easy for you now. You got to...
I do have to say I am enjoying the focusing system a lot more than I do on my Canon, because it just follows the face automatically, so I don't have to readjust my focusing points, which is definitely helpful for the shooting. Gorgeous. So yeah, the focusing points are definitely a bit more annoying because I have to like refocus. It's not the end of the world. I've done it before, you know, for years, but it's definitely handy to have that like autofocus on the model's eye. One major difference between the two cameras is definitely the focusing system. The new R6 has the face detection and the eye detection, and it makes such a huge difference, regardless of what lens you have. Just having the automatic focus makes so much of a difference, because with my 5D Mark IV I have to keep refocusing, keep moving points around and keep reframing, and it is very time consuming and frustrating because a lot of the time because of that I miss focus. While with the other one, with the R6, you just point wherever you want and it detects the face and shoots. So it definitely makes my life so much easier, and I definitely love it about the camera.
Just watch me breaking.
The R6 produces slightly smaller files than the 5D Mark IV, which, to be honest, I don't personally really mind because I mostly shoot for Instagram and for social media, so it's fine for me. Maybe if you were trying to blow it up into big formats, you might be in trouble, but I'm not 100% because I never really print my work. But in general, it is enough for you to shoot on day-to-day basis. That's definitely one of the things that I was worried about coming from 5D Mark IV, that the photos are going to be too small. You definitely can't crop in as much as you would with the 5D Mark IV, but overall you still get a decent size of image and it's totally workable, and you don't have to worry about it being too small or bad quality because it is amazing quality image. That's really nice. So I'm on 4,000 of a second, 2.5. Actually, I'll increase the f-stop. I'll do 3.5 and then 1,600. Gorgeous. Yes. I'm shooting on the R6 at the moment. Yes, cool. Gorgeous. Yes, beautiful. Yes, love that. That's really nice. And maybe have the hand a bit less in the shot, just so it's like not like, yeah. That's gorgeous. Simone, you can actually be a bit more towards me, just a bit more. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, perfect. Yes, gorgeous. Again, we have quite similar like looks on the girls. We're gonna got similar bodysuits. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that's lovely. And go here. Beautiful.
Not used to this. I don't know how to act, don't know how to adapt to this situation. Not used to this, no I'm not. But better let myself give in to love, believe in us, no matter what it does to my heart. Not used to this, no I'm not. It was like if we were to waste these moments, they're like poets to me. You getting it.
Beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And can you have your face forward, Simone? Yeah, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Perfect. And maybe like this hand here, just kind of balance the frame. Beautiful. Yes. Oh, I love that. That's gorgeous. It's great foot positioning as well.
Mine is getting all too loud, I get scared. Not used to this, not prepared. Not used to this, not prepared. Not prepared.
So to sum it up, I think after using both setups, I think I would definitely consider buying the R6 instead of the 5D Mark IV. You know, I've had 5D for years. It is a workhorse, and as you see, they do produce similar effects. But at the same time, for me, having the updated focusing system, the new video quality definitely makes a difference. As I mentioned, I'm not super happy with the colors yet, but I think it's something that you just have to tweak around and play around with, and you could make it work, no problem. The colors are pretty similar anyway, so it's not such a big deal. Overall, I think R6 is a solid camera. It goes against 5D and the R5 no problem. I think it is such a strong workhorse of a camera that is going to be around for a while, and I think Canon did a great job with this camera, so I definitely would consider purchasing or looking into it if you are interested. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much, girls, for being my gorgeous models. I hope you guys like the comparison. Let me know which camera did you prefer. I found it very different to shoot with both cameras. It was fun for both of them. It was different, but I definitely like the final results in both of them. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Again, make sure to check everybody out. They're going to be linked in the description below. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.
Special and she reckless. Baby, you're my bestest friend. Yeah, she my bestie. My love for you is endless. Nobody else can end it. And when I get the money back, then baby girl, you can spend it. And everything is alright. I like how you doing alright, alright. Like how you think alright.